Okay, today we're going to be comparing a lot of the dual motor pumps that I'm getting asked about. Sometimes you guys are wanting me to compare, two side by side, but let's just compare. I had 5 sitting in my office, so let's talk about all of them, and this might kind of help you break down which one you think might work best for you. If you're new to the channel, my name is Allison. I'm an IBCLC, a mom of 3, and a breast pump expert. I work mostly with working moms who are combining breastfeeding and pumping in my private program, but here on the YouTube channel, we talk about working mom stuff, pumping stuff, and we love to explore breast pumps. So let's dive in. I think I'd like to start by saying you don't actually need a dual motor pump. These are cool for a few reasons. Dual motor pumps have 2 motors, obviously, that's the name. In these pumps we're talking about today, you can control each breast individually. So that might be good for a few different reasons. If you are sore or cracked or trying to heal one side, maybe because you're working on a latch issue, it can be really nice to turn down that suction on the one side you're trying to heal while still keeping it up higher. If you've had breast surgery, maybe you've had breast cancer in one side and you need to turn that suction up higher than your other breast, that would be one. If you're working on increasing supply on a slacker side and you want to try and mess with some of the settings on that side while still maintaining what you know works on that regular side, that might be cool. Dual motor pumps in general tend to have higher suction when you're double pumping because they have 2 motors. So if you also are looking for the pump with the best suction when you're double pumping, that would be a reason to go with a dual motor pump as well. Most of the pumps listed when you talk about their max suction are talking about single-sided max suction. So we may do a video later talking about which pumps hold up best to double pumping and not. But anyway, these dual motor pumps will be great. So let's just dive in. Okay, I'm going to start with one of my favorite ones. It's also the most expensive on the list, and that is the Unimom Opera. The cool thing about this one though is I have been seeing some insurance companies covering this pump, sometimes fully, which blows my mind because it's about a $600 pump. So if this is on your list for insurance pumps and there's no upgrade fee, like that is absolutely a no-brainer for me. I'm still even recommending this as buying out of pocket sometimes because it's a great pump. So here's what it's got. It has a battery, so you do not have to plug it in to use it, which is awesome. You'll see it's also quite small and lightweight. This is a really great size pump. I was just looking at my other pumps to compare. Honestly, it's awesome. This one has a lot of cool features, including you can alternate suction modes. You can go left, right, left, right, left, right, or you can sync them up together. Also, all of the buttons on the screen are labeled. So you don't have to guess, what does this 3 wavy lines mean? What does the hand mean? Everything's labeled. Massage mode, stimulation mode, cycles, vacuum, which I thought was a really nice feature that they did. The screen is also huge, so it's really easy to see. It's very user-friendly. This pump does have a lot of options for customization, which can be maybe overwhelming for someone who's a new pumper, but again, you can find what works for you and go from there. It had great suction strength. The cycle range was also really nice. I could get up to 100 cycles per minute on stimulation mode, which was great. Clear down to 26 on expression mode, which is a nice slow pull. And then everything in between, it was very customizable. So anyway, a great little small lightweight dual motor pump. Next, let's talk about the Spectra Synergy Gold. As you can see, this is quite a bit bigger than the Unimom Opera just for size comparison. It's also heavier as I'm holding them in my hands. This pump is about $325, I would think. This is a great pump. One of the biggest downsides of it though is it does have to be plugged in for use. So if being portable or using it on a battery is a big deal to you, just keep that in mind with this pump. Otherwise, I really, really like it. For one, it's beautiful. This is one of the prettiest pumps. I love the rose gold color. Anyway, whatever. I have seen this on some insurance lists as well, usually with an upgrade fee, but even the Spectra 1 is having an upgrade fee on a lot of insurances. So this is a cool option if you're wanting that classic Spectra feel in the dual motor thing. I did look at the graphs. They were very similar. I think the Spectra 1 and 2 have a little bit more micro vibration than this does, but it still has that vibration that people really like with the Spectra, so that's cool. It has tons of adjustments, so you can do literally, I think, 100 different combinations of suction strength versus cycles, anything like that. It had one of the better suction ranges of the dual motor pumps that I tested. I could get clear down to 25 mmHg, which is a really light, nice suction, clear up to 314. Again, That's on each side. Like this pump has all the power you would ever need. I mean, a lot of these do, but this one was just extra impressive. So this one does go into stimulation mode on a higher cycles per minute than the Spectra one. So the Spectra one is 70 because that classic stimulation mode. This one went up to 106, which was really cool. If you're totally confused by the vacuum and the cycle speeds and stuff that we're talking about, I'll put a video up here probably with some more information because I know I'm kind of going in depth on some of these pump settings. So anyway, awesome pump, no battery, but still a nice dual motor pump. While we're talking about Spectra, let's look at the compact version of the dual motor pump. So this is the Spectra Dual Compact. It is recently available in the United States. So this is not a new pump. It's been around for a while, but it was really hard to get in the US. I got mine on eBay a couple years ago, and they're still cheaper on eBay, to be honest, than what I've seen in the States, but eBay is sometimes hard to deal with, so I get that. So this is essentially the same pump as the Spectra Synergy Gold, the one we just looked at, except for the portable version. It, however, has much fewer adjustments. So you can't adjust the cycle speed at all on this pump, only vacuum, which is not a terrible thing. It does, however, have a battery, so you do not have to be plugged in to use this pump, which is nice. If you want a dual motor pump, you like the Spectra style, but you cannot be plugged in, this might be a nice option for you. It also had a higher cycles per minute on stimulation mode than the original Spectra, which honestly I like. I like it a little bit faster. I think it tends to work better for initiating that letdown, but that's just me. Interesting thing about this pump is it had a really long break in between cycles, which isn't a bad thing, but it's not necessarily my favorite thing either. So I'm just gonna show you here on, oh, I don't need it that high. So you can hear it pull, and then it has a break. Okay, not necessarily a bad thing. I feel like breaks can sometimes be wasted time. Like I just want it to like keep pulling and stuff, but it's not a bad option at all, especially if that's something you're comfortable with. This pump is lightweight and smaller than the compact for sure. Here it is next to the Unimom Opera for comparison. It's not like the smallest little pump, but there's 2 motors in there. So I mean, what are you gonna do? Okay, and a pump that might look very similar to that one is the Duette from Legendary Milk. In fact, they are very similar sizes here. The compact is a little bit bigger just the way that it's shaped, but they're very similar. This pump from Legendary Milk also has a battery, so you do not need to plug it in to use it, which is really cool. You can do either side there. You do have some speed control options. It looks like 3. And then the suction, obviously, on either side. So you'll notice that I've got this set on, one of the speeds is 1 and one of the speeds is 3, and they're actually going like not synchronized with each other, which is fine, right? If I bump it up, okay, if they're on the same one, it does go, they're synchronized together, the battery's dying. So you can actually turn off the sound with that button there so it doesn't beep at you like that. You can also lock the screen. It's got this little lock button on here, so you can press that, and so when it gets bumped, it doesn't accidentally switch modes if you want. So this is a nice little pump too. It is a nice price, $259, I think last time I checked on the site. Don't quote me, that changes a lot. There's a coupon code for this one and a couple of these actually down in the description. If you want to check those out, you're welcome to. It has 9 vacuum levels. You can switch it from stimulation to expression mode. It did have some really good cycle range too, 20 cycles per minute all the way up to 100 on stimulation mode, which was great. It does have a pause button, which I always like as well. Sometimes you just like to pause. Again, many of these had that, but I'm just kind of looking at my list of notes that I made about this pump. This is a lightweight pump. This is definitely lighter than the Spectra Dual Compact. If I remember right, when I was using this, it wasn't the quietest pump, but it's not overly loud. The one thing with this pump is I feel like the suction range is a little skewed. So it does tend to have some pretty strong suction even on the lower ends. For example, in expression mode, you can't pump below 100. Like I couldn't get it below 100 millimeters mercury, which is decent. Again, you're probably starting in stimulation mode and then moving to that once your nipples are warmed up and things are going. So it's probably not a problem. But even in stimulation mode, which is that first mode, like a little bit higher than what I prefer. Does that make sense? So if you are sensitive at all, or you're like, I don't need strong suction, I just like this pump for whatever reason, I don't know, the low range wasn't that impressive. You can also get this in a different color too. You can get it in like a pink, which is kind of cool too. Okay, and then we have one more. This one is probably the one that I'm least familiar with, but it does have some really cool features that I wanted to show you about. This is the Cimilre S5 Plus, I think it's called. This is a dual motor pump. This is definitely the least expensive, and I would say the smallest, although it's hard to compare when they're just different shapes, if that makes sense. This one was $199 last time I checked, so it's definitely one of the less expensive options for pumps. It also has some fun skins, which honestly does not matter to some people because you're just like, it's a pump and I don't care. But you can actually change out this blue part for some like colorful designs and stuff like that. For example, here's another Cimilre pump that has a fun little skin on it. So, you know, whatever. Okay, a couple of interesting things about this pump. It has kind of a different display. Instead of like a stimulation mode and an expression mode, those are listed here, but it's just on the levels. So levels 1 through 5 are massage mode. And then when you pop up above 5, it goes into expression mode. Just kind of interesting. You can also control the sides individually. As you can see, I just lowered this left side and the right side is where I had it, and they're not going at the same time, so they're not in sync. However, it does have this sync button, so it will bring it down to the lower one and sync them back up if you want them going at the same time. Okay, so kind of like basic bare bones there. It does have that pause button. You can actually pause on either side, which is kind of cool. It did have a weird cycle pattern. Actually, I'm going to play it for you so you can hear it. This is similar to what we were talking about with, which one was it? The dual compact, how there's a break in between the cycles. Again, this is not a bad thing. This is just how the pump works. This one had quite a long break though. You hear all that dead time in between? It was even more noticeable on higher vacuum. Can you hear when it's pulling and when it's not? So not like a deal breaker, but I don't know. I want the breast under suction to pump faster, if that makes sense. So, but this is definitely an affordable option. It does have the dual motors. The cycles per minute were fine. The vacuum levels were fine. So I don't really have any, my biggest complaint there was just kind of that cycle pattern. But again, not the worst thing in the world. So a nice option, especially if that fits in your budget. The size, this is by far the lightest weight one. So anyway, I hope that kind of gives you a breakdown of those dual motor pumps. I just want to stress again that we don't have to have dual motor pumps, right? Just because you see a new thing or learn about a new thing and you're like, oh, great. Well, now my pump that I have that's actually working for me feels lame and outdated. Like, please do not walk away from this video feeling that way. I just wanted to explore some of these options for you. If you find yourself needing a dual motor pump or wanting to try a new one, or it's pretty and you want it, like, that's fine. But if you want help pumping fast and efficiently, maybe without buying more pumps, that's exactly what I do for working moms. So if you want to chat with us down, there's a link down in the description and you can schedule a call with my team and we can talk about how to actually make pumping fast and efficient. That's our goals, right? But I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions on these dual motor pumps, I'm sure that another one is going to come out like the second I publish this video because they're coming so quickly. I actually have all the details of all the pumps I've tested inside my program. So if you're one of those people that really likes this kind of data and likes to dive into the pumps more in a way than just the information you can find online, you can go on these websites and see what their features are, what they come with, like the companies are telling you, right? But if you want these more in-depth details, this data, comparisons of patterns and cycle speeds and vacuum pressures, that's all inside my program as well. So anyway, I'd love to chat with you if you want. Otherwise, let me know which pump was your favorite down below and we'll see you on the next video. Bye.